Hi everyone, it's Anthony back with another video, and today we are going to be doing a Get Unready With Me video. It's been quite some time since I've done an Unready video. It's been at least a month. So I wanted to go through all of my current products that I'm using in my routine, just kind of walk you through them, update you on what's going on in my skincare routine, and yeah, just kind of touch on those products. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. This is the first product that I'm using. It's our oil cleansing step, and this is from Beekman 1802, and it's their buttermilk makeup melting cleansing balm. So I've been using this one for just about 2 weeks now, and it's decent. It's a decent oil cleanser or cleansing balm. However, a couple of things that I have noticed with this. Beekman 1802, by the way, is a brand that launched fairly recently at Ulta. Their focus is on like clean, natural skincare, and their key ingredient or their star ingredient is goat's milk because the Beekman farm is partly a goat farm. So they have their goat's milk and those types of things. So that's supposed to help to provide a lot of nourishment, help to heal, repair, support moisture barrier, those types of things. A lot of milk proteins kind of have similar claims. So this makeup cleansing balm has that. It also has, your typical cleansing balm consistency and texture. I really like how the packaging has the little spoon as like the handle, which is kind of cool and cute, I guess. So you just take your little spoon, scoop out a little bit of the product, and then apply it. However, something that I've noticed is that this doesn't have any fragrance, which is totally fine. So there's some of the product right there. It doesn't have any fragrance, totally fine, but the scent is, sometimes you'll have an extract or something that will give you just a little something. This really doesn't have anything. So it just has this kind of petroleum jelly kind of, I don't know what else to say other than it's like petroleum jelly. It has like this industrial kind of scent. It's very, very no bones about it. It's just super straightforward cleansing balm. And the other thing to keep in mind with this product, and I guess I didn't realize it when I purchased it, is it comes in at something like, I want to say it's in the high 30s to low $40 range, maybe like $35 to $45. And there's only, I think, 41 milliliters or 44 milliliters. So just a little bit over an ounce. It's like an ounce, 1.3 ounces or 1.4 ounces, which is pretty teeny tiny, in my opinion, for a cleansing balm. Usually 100 milliliters is a pretty average size. You might go a little bit less than that. I think I've seen as little as 70, but being in like the 40s and the 50s for a cleansing balm that you're supposed to be using every day to remove makeup and sunscreen, it just seems a little pricey, kind of excessively so. And of course that really just depends on your budget and what you're trying to get out of your cleansing balm and what you're trying to get out of a formulation or what you don't want in a formulation. All those things are going to play a role, and even aesthetic, like that packaging is really, really pretty. So it's hard to say something is expensive because that's all relative to, what you desire in a product. So I don't know, it just seemed like a little much for so small, a little pricey for me personally for such a small amount of product, or comparatively a small amount of product. And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to massage this in for about a minute or so, but I was thinking to myself as I'm using this, like, okay, is it so mind-blowing in benefit that you really only need to use half as much as you normally would? Like, does it have that much slip and glide that you need just a pea-sized amount? And I haven't found that to be the case. I tried really, really rationing myself with this, and I found that I wasn't getting that slip or that glide and that really comfortable massage that I do when I use the appropriate amount of product. Like right now, I can just kind of run my fingers. I'm not pulling, I'm not tugging. But if I was used to use about half of that, then especially around the eye area, I was feeling a little bit of tugging and some pulling. So I don't think that it's necessarily a formulation that would allow you to use a lot less, therefore they're giving you less. It seems pretty much in line with other oil or cleansing balms that I have used in the past. So let me go ahead and rinse this, and then we'll talk about the results after rinsing. But yeah, I just do a nice thorough massage, make sure to get everything. And I don't wear makeup, but I do wear about 4 to 5 layers of sunscreen, depending on what I've been doing that day and how long I've been, exposed to daylight. So it can be a little bit less, a little bit more, but that's kind of average for me. And so I really like to get a good, massage in, just to really work up all of that sunscreen, excess oil, sebum, those types of things. And so yeah, and it does glide in a massage really, really comfortably into the skin. And so I do appreciate that. So let's go ahead and rinse, and then I will be right back with you. Okay, so I'm just gonna pat dry really quickly here. And so as far as results with that particular oil cleanser, it rinses okay. I have noticed that it takes a little bit more work than normal to completely rinse that off to get a nice clean finish after rinsing with that cleansing balm. Even more so than the Glow Recipe Papaya Sorbet, which uses some alternatives to PEGs, or uses a different format, which left it leaving a little bit of a residue behind. I really had to rinse that thoroughly to get it all the way off. This one is even more leaning towards leaving behind almost a waxy kind of residue, at least on my skin. And if I'm very, very thorough with rinsing, then it's not that noticeable. But as I'm rinsing, I feel like I have to work a little bit harder to get that off, especially in the eye area, because I'm usually really, really gentle when I rinse that area. I'm not applying a lot of pressure. I'm trying not to rub very much. And so I can really feel almost that residue, nearly a waxiness, kind of right on the inside of my eye there. So I end up feeling like I'm rubbing that area to rinse it more than I normally would. And then in the shower, it's really apparent. Typically I'll apply the cleansing oil or the cleansing balm. Typically I'll apply that cleansing balm outside of the shower on dry skin, hop in the shower, and that's where I rinse. And in the shower, as I'm rinsing, I can feel that almost kind of waxiness or that residue, even like on my neck, on my chest, as it's rinsing off. It's just kind of an odd feeling, and it hasn't translated in the couple of weeks that I've been using it into any kind of breakouts or anything like that, or I don't feel like I'm getting especially clogged pores. Like eventually it does rinse clean. It's just a little bit or a lot of bit more work than I'm typically used to. The closest thing that it reminds me of is the Drunk Elephant, their Slay cleansing balm. It has that similar kind of almost feel like you need to reach for a warm washcloth to wipe away the excess. It's almost there. So those with super oily skin are like a cleansing oil or balm that just rinses and emulsifies super cleanly and thoroughly. I don't know if this one would necessarily be for you. However, those that have more dry skin and are really looking for that feeling of nourishment or that feeling of weight in every single step might get along with this a little bit better. But my hesitation, regardless of skin type, those types of things would still be the size. The size is just, I don't know, for some reason that's getting to me that, let's see if it's on here. So 1.4 ounces, 41 grams, which kind of roughly translates to about 41 milliliters of product. It's small for a cleansing balm, at least for cleansing balms that I've used. So that's that for the oil cleansing step for my first cleanse. And we're gonna move right into the second step cleanser or water-based cleanser that I'm using. And right now I am using the Even Prime Cleansing Gel. So let's see if it'll focus in on that little, yeah. There you go. So the Even Prime Cleansing Gel. Another one that's fairly new to my routine. I've been using it for, I think, just about a week, not a little bit longer. And so far, so good. This is a very, very gentle, come on, buddy. There we go. Maybe, yeah. Very, very gentle cleansing gel that has kind of that jelly, almost serum-like consistency. It's very, very nice. It uses coconut-based surfactant, so you've got a pH balance here. There's also, we talked about it in the unboxing of these products, but there's also allantoin in here, seawater, sodium hyaluronate, panthenol in here, pomegranate extract, Japanese apricot extract, yuzu extract, and some fermented rice ferments as well. So think of this as like potentially having some brightening and soothing powers while also having some antioxidant powers in there as well. And I've been very, very happy with this product. In fact, I want to go ahead and show you what the lather looks like. So let me just damp my hand. So just getting a little water back on the skin. And then I use probably about like a quarter size, I don't know, it's always hard to say that, but like a decent dollop. And I found that using this with just mildly damp hands, they don't need to be like soaking wet, is the best way to get a lather. This is one of those cleansers that has a really minimal lather. It doesn't foam up a ton. You can see that's not much, but it builds a little bit once you get it on the skin. But it's not necessarily one of those cleansers that has that super kind of luxurious feel because of the lather. It just kind of goes on, does its work, and then you rinse it off. It's kind of straight, it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, as you can see, it doesn't really foam or lather a ton. It just kind of moves around. You still get that glide, you still get that slip, it's still doing its thing, but you don't get that visual that you normally would, you know, with something like a foaming cleanser or like a cream cleanser, or I guess like a cleansing foam, or the pump style, I guess is what I mean to say. So yeah, it's still there, it's still doing its thing, but it's just not as much of an experience as you would normally get from like a foaming cleanser. They really, really kept things super, super gentle. It reminds me a little bit of the Power Calm cleanser from Peach and Lily. So once I'm done with that, I'm just gonna rinse. Okay, so then we're just gonna pat dry here real quick. And yeah, this is just a super gentle cleanser that just doesn't strip the skin, but it still removes just enough excess oil, sebum, those types of things to give your skin that nice cleanse that it needs without being too stripping or drying. It almost feels a little bit hydrating, and I'm always so shocked by how, or I've been shocked by how smooth and kind of just soft my skin feels after using this. It's almost like it leaves behind. I've been saying this a lot about some very hydrating and gentle cleansers I've used this year, but it almost feels like I applied a really light layer of toner. It just has this like kind of softness, a little bit of hydration left behind after cleansing, which has really impressed me. Solved Skincare's coconut water cleansing foam did that. The 23.5N Rice Soothing Cleansing Foam did that for me, and now this one from Even Prime, their just straight up cleansing gel, is just very straightforward, but very effective. And even though it's so simple and doesn't have a lot of that lather, there's this elegance and like the softness that it leaves behind that I was not expecting. So be on the lookout for a full review of this as well as the rest of the Even Prime products in the coming weeks. And next up is shower. So I'm gonna jump in the shower real quick, and then I will be back with you to finish up the rest of this routine. Bye. All right, so we are back. Just hopped out of the shower, put my pajamas on, and so we're gonna go ahead and keep moving and grooving through this routine. The one thing I did want to comment on is I have not used the Even Prime, there you go. I haven't used the Even Prime cleansing gel outside of using it alongside the Beekman buttermilk, so I'm curious to see what the lather looks like on this product once I work this out of my routine. I'm wondering if the residue or anything that's left behind, maybe that layer of hydration or layer of nourishment that's left behind might be stifling the potential for lather from this cleansing gel. I've had that happen before with some other cleansing products where I'm using a really heavy oil cleanser that's leaving some oil and it's leaving some residue behind. So then when I go to use a cleansing gel on top of it, the cleansing gel just kind of fizzles out really quickly because it's having to work through what the first step cleanse still had left on the skin. So I'm curious to see, this will definitely be outlasting the Beekman buttermilk, so I will get that opportunity probably in the next couple weeks once I finish up with the Beekman. So be on the lookout. I might end up doing another kind of surprise Get Unready With Me if I do find a drastic difference once I swap out my oil cleanser. So that's enough of that. Moving on, tonight is actually exfoliation night. I alternate between AHA and BHA products right now. I'll usually do AHA, BHA, night off, AHA, BHA, and then 2 nights off usually, or I'll work in something else depending on my skin needs. That's all just kind of in pencil. It just depends on how my skin's feeling, what I'm seeing on my skin. And then I have Curology and a different serum that I layer on top of either that AHA or BHA or after I'm done with the AHA or BHA. So we'll kind of cover that. The AHA product that I'm using right now, which I just started using over the past week, is the, there you go. That is the Crave Beauty Hallelujah, and this is their AHA toner. It features 5.25% glycolic acid, and this is a low pH toner that falls in line with that glycolic acid to give some more efficient exfoliation, some more, I guess, a slightly more intense exfoliation as opposed to something that might be a little bit higher in pH. So this is a product that I have had in my stash since pretty much the beginning of the year, but I have had azelaic acid in my Curology prescription pretty much the entire year thus far, and I just recently got that changed, so I swapped out azelaic acid for niacinamide. That way I could have more control over the active ingredients other than the tretinoin that are in the Curology. So I like to be able to customize my routine, to add an AHA or skip using an AHA for a few days if my skin doesn't feel like it can handle it, or being able to layer them both. I like being able to play with the exfoliation step in my routine, and having it in the Curology meant that it was just kind of there. If I wanted to use my prescription tretinoin, then I needed to use that as well. So I'm trying to switch up that prescription to be tretinoin is the active, and then the other stuff is just kind of extra nice to have. So I've got niacinamide, there's clindamycin in there right now, which I'm hoping that I can swap out for another ingredient that's a little bit more kind of neutral or kind of secondary as I get through this bottle. So hopefully by the end of the year it'll just be tretinoin plus a couple other fun things. But for now, I've got the AHA in the form of the Hallelujah that I can use as I see fit. And so what I do is I've got a cotton pad here that I just kind of wrap around my finger, and then I just go ahead and apply a few drops or a few kind of splashes of the Hallelujah onto that, and then I just kind of, I'm gonna have to look in the viewfinder, sorry, but I just kind of apply that to my entire face on one side, avoiding the eye area. And then I do the other side. So at a certain point, I kind of have to take it off my finger just to do the more traditional wiping. So yeah. And then I'll go ahead and repeat that process on the other side. And since I haven't been using glycolic acid in months, I haven't used it since, I think I haven't used it at all this year. Maybe January is the last time I used something that was like a glycolic acid specific product. And since then, I've just been transitioning to using tretinoin, so no other acids or no other actives. And then I had the azelaic acid, so that was kind of taking the place of that. And I am shocked by how quickly my skin brightened up and my skin tone started to even out again. And everything just looked a lot smoother and happier. I'm not kidding, with like 2 applications of this Hallelujah. I am so happy to have glycolic acid back in my routine, and it feels like this 5.25%, so maybe 4 to 7 or 4 to 6% is kind of the sweet spot for me, because I've used stuff a lot stronger, and I feel like there was a little bit of kind of a transition period for me where things were looking a little red, a little irritated, and then they started to calm down. But this pretty much went right into resurfacing, refining, brightening mode, and I was just like, I forgot how much I love glycolic acid and I love AHA products, because I haven't had them in my routine pretty much at all this year. So I had a bug bite right here, kind of like right in the middle of my my eyebrows, and that it kind of healed with a mark of hyperpigmentation. So I had a dark spot right there, and then my roommate's dog, we were playing on the bed, and he like kind of swiped at me and got me right in my forehead, and it didn't cut me, but it just kind of scraped, and so that healed with a mark of hyperpigmentation. So for, I'm not kidding, like a couple of weeks, maybe a week and a half, I had what appeared to be an exclamation point of pigmentation on my forehead right here, and still using my Curology, using the BHA, using all of that stuff, but I didn't have any glycolic acid. And just in the time that I've worked the Crave Beauty Hallelujah into my routine, there you go, it has really just like, it's just gone over just doing it a few times, and I'm so happy about it. So I can't wait to continue using this product, see if my results continue to be really positive. It doesn't leave any stickiness behind. It absorbs right in. In fact, it feels a little bit more hydrating than some of those other harsher kind of acid-based toners or acid-based fluids. This just feels comfortable. I don't feel a ton of stinging. Like I said, I think this is just kind of the sweet spot as far as concentration of glycolic acid for my skin in particular. So I'm going to keep alternating this on and off every other day or two in my routine, and we'll see how it goes. But so far, very positive results. So there's that. And then I don't mess around. I go right into using my Curology. My skin, I started using Curology, I believe, in late April. And in that time, I've slowly increased percentages every other month. So now I'm still fairly low for some of you that are kind of tretinoin diehards, but I'm still at 0.02% tretinoin. I've got 4% niacinamide in here, 100% clindamycin, and I've been very lucky in that I've been able to layer this with, I guess this is the first time I'm layering it with an AHA, but I've been able to use it in conjunction with BHAs and other actives in my routine, at least in the past 6 weeks, without noticing any issue, which has been very positive. So I'm of course going to keep an eye on that. I don't want to overdo it by any means, but I'm going to go ahead and use my Curology prescription, if I can get things to focus today. I'm going to go ahead and use that right over the AHA. So I just take a pump of this and then just kind of mix it between my fingers as such. And then I kind of do, once again, not going to look at you, but I just do these tiny, teensy little dots, trying to get an even layer, avoiding the eye area, obviously. And then I just massage that in. And the one thing I have noticed about this prescription, now that the azelaic acid is gone, is that it feels a lot more creamy. It applies a little bit more smoothly and evenly, to the point that I feel like I don't have to use as much. When it had the azelaic acid in it, I felt like there was a little bit of graininess, and I felt like it just kind of sunk in, and I found myself having to reach for more products. Sometimes I'd use up to like 2 pumps per application. So I think how you feel about the consistency and texture might depend on what you've got going on in it. But this mixture, this combination, is a little bit more creamy and smooth, easy to apply. So that's that. And then I mentioned the Differin serum. So I am using the dark spot correcting serum from Differin. This is their 2% hydroquinone skin kind of lightening serum. And I only use this on one specific area, and it's actually here on my neck. And then I just bring it around to the other side. So I have a lot of hyperpigmentation that is related to shaving and ingrown hairs, those types of things. So I just try to work on breaking that up. And this is really one of the few products, if not the only product, that has actually like really worked to intensely break that up and just kind of lighten that area and even out those patches of hyperpigmentation. I've used, with various success, I've used things like really high percentages of vitamin C serum, even something like a glycolic acid can help with that. So things have worked and helped to kind of minimize the deepening of those areas, but I've been dealing with this since I started growing facial hair. So for decades I've had these patches and they just seem to get darker and deeper and more pronounced. So I'm trying to turn back the hands of time in addition to maintaining the current state. And I feel like things like glycolic acid, vitamin C help to kind of slow things down, but I haven't got to that point where they're resetting and creating kind of a more even skin tone, nearly erasing. Ideally, that would be the goal, is to erase those. So if you have any tips, let me know. I know that hydroquinone you have to cycle on and off of, so I'm a few weeks away of having to cycle off of that. And so I've been trying to find something that I can use in the meantime that might help to keep the ball rolling aside from things like vitamin C. So I did pick up the Topicals. This is a fairly new brand. Topicals Faded Brightening and Clearing Gel. They're using, I believe, tranexamic acid in here. You've also got kojic acid, which I heard is supposed to be a really good ingredient for lightening hyperpigmentation. Azelaic acid is in here, which is fine. I don't think it'll interfere too much, especially if I'm getting rid of the hydroquinone. Shouldn't interfere too much with what else I have going on. And yeah, it seemed like it was geared specifically towards balancing skin tone. This is right off the box. Brightening and reviving tired skin, smoothing rough and textured skin. So it seemed like it might be a good candidate for trying to address the issues that I have pretty much all along my jawline while I'm cycling off of hydroquinone. So it wouldn't be a forever thing. It would just be like, let's keep things moving and grooving. So that's that for my acids. So I like to leave these be for anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. It just depends on my patience level that day or how much extra time I have, or sometimes I'll just get lost in like editing a video or reading or something, and so I give myself the full 20 minutes. So I typically set an alarm and try to go as long as I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Let the acids live in their happy pH world, their low pH world, do their work, or let the actives do their work, and then we'll move on to the last few steps in this relatively short, for me, evening routine. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. All right, so about 20 minutes has passed. Of course, I got distracted to talking to roommates and reading news, so it goes by a lot faster than every time I do, my acids, I'm like, 20 minutes, ugh. But it just it goes by so fast. So let's go ahead and dive into the next step in my routine, which is kind of an interesting one. It's a new addition, and it's also from Even Prime, and this is gonna be their Soothing Mist from Even Prime. And so this is intended to be a face mist that you can use either as part of your routine or take it on the go, spritz it on a hot day or after the gym, just to kind of cool off, rehydrate, refresh, those types of things. However, I typically don't take facial mists out throughout the day with me anymore. I used to last year, but I kind of fell off the facial mist wagon, I guess. And so anytime a face mist does come my way, or I see one that really interests me, I always think of it as taking the place of my toner. So it goes in the toner step of my routine. Sometimes it also takes the place of an essence. It really just depends on what's in the formulation, and I'll just plug in a mist instead of that toner or essence or both. And in this case, the Soothing Mist is actually going to take the place of both because this has galactomyces ferment filtrate in it, allantoin, sodium hyaluronate, niacinamide. It's got plum fruit extract in it, sea buckthorn fruit extract, madecassoside. So it has this like perfect blend of hydrating ingredients, calming ingredients, galactomyces, which is one of my favorite ferments, is way high on the list. So that kind of almost is a stand-in for a brightening essence. So I'm letting it do its thing unfettered by any other kind of watery hydrator. It's taking the place of both toner and essence. Having said that, one thing that I do have to keep in mind with this product is it's only 60 milliliters because it's kind of supposed to be a mist that you just take with you. You're not using it as much as you would like a toner or essence. So I plan on, or I'm assuming that I'm going to burn through this pretty quickly, which is fine. I understand that. And I wouldn't necessarily consider that a knock to the product because I'm kind of using it outside of its normal, like how it would be used or how they intend on using it every day or intend on it being used every day. And so what I'm doing is rather than misting this directly to the face, which you could do, I found that I tried it and the spray is a little intense, so I had to hold it a bit further away than I normally would. But what I've been doing is I'm just doing 3 sprays right into the palm of my hand. It has a really nice, lightweight, watery texture. And then I'm just kind of patting / massaging that in. And, you know, with a toner, I would do this until my skin was literally like, you know, super, super saturated. But like I said, I don't want to completely burn through this, you know, in a week or two. So I've been doing 3 pumps 3 times. And so I figure as long as I'm being consistent with my application, that'll allow me to at least give a decent review. And so just with those, you know, 3 pumps 3 times, I could absolutely go for a few more layers, especially since I'm letting this kind of try to do the work of toner and essence. I just want to see how that those ingredients and formulations and hydration is able to sustain me, removing those other products. So in the AM, I'm using just this. I'm not using the glycolic acid toner. So I might do a 4th layer. Who knows? I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it. This is more experimental to see if it can take the place of those products, be it one or the other or both in my routine, and kind of go from there. But what I like about it, first impressions, is that the galactomyces, just in, you know, the week that I've been using it, maybe not even a week, it's just been a couple days, but those brightening ingredients always support my other steps in my routine, whether that be the brightening aspect of a glycolic acid or a vitamin C in the morning. I always find that something that has rice ferments or ferment filtrate, all of those stuff just helps to give my skin kind of a lighter, more balanced, brighter tone. So I'm happy with it. Of course, it's going to take time to see how things work out, but fingers crossed that I could maybe eventually see this as replacing my toner or my essence. And we'll kind of go from there, I suppose. So stay on the lookout for the review there. And then as far as a serum, I'm using the Beauty of Joseon, and this is their calming serum. So this features green tea and panthenol. It's a very lightweight serum. You can kind of see it there. Lightweight, watery kind of serum. I finished using their repair serum last week, and I'm moving into this as part of a review that I'm doing for Glowy Co. I'll announce when that review goes live, all of that stuff. But I put about 4 to 6 drops of this product in my hands, then I pat it in. Has no scent, which I'm surprised by. This and the repair serum don't have a scent, and the repair serum has ginseng in it, as well as, I believe, snail mucin. And I was just expecting kind of like a hanbang, kind of like herbal scent. I was expecting this one to have maybe kind of a green tea, maybe an herbal scent, but they're just not fragranced, no scent even from the extracts. They're very, very inconspicuous serums. but that delivers kind of a burst of nice hydration. On days that I have had breakouts or irritation on my skin, it has helped to kind of calm that. I've been using this one, I think we're coming up on 2 weeks now. So yeah, it's very, very nice. I like it. The repair serum, I think, has just a quick blurb, I don't want to give too much away, but the repair serum was also very nice, and I really appreciated that because I needed it at the time. My skin was recovering from a pretty intense reaction to a different product, and so it just came in at the perfect time because it helped to repair or just kind of lessen the look of some of the texture issues I was experiencing, some of the acne or the hyperpigmentation spots that I was seeing, the really fresh ones from a very recent breakout, seemed to be recovering a little bit quickly, especially because I hadn't been using glycolic acid at the time I was using that serum. So it did all the things that I expected ginseng and snail mucin to do. So anyway, be on the lookout for that review on Glowica once that all kind of happens. I still have to finish my review or my test period with the calming serum, and then I will be moving on to the glow serum, which is the last of the 3 newly released serums from Beauty of Joseon. So be on the lookout for that. As far as an eye cream, I am using the Peach and Lily. This is their Pure Peach Retinoic Eye Cream. I just posted my review of this on the blog, so I'll link that below. This is a nice lightweight eye cream. I just put a teensy amount on my fingers. I'm just patting it in and then using that 4th finger just to kind of massage it in, pat it in. And so this is a nice lightweight hydrating eye cream that features a lot of antioxidant rich kind of green extracts, so like spinach, broccoli. It also has bakuchiol in it. I believe there's niacinamide in here as well. And it's just a nice eye cream that absorbs really well, doesn't leave my eye area feeling greasy or tacky or sticky, and it doesn't cause any irritation in my eyes. I haven't noticed any bumps or any, weird reactions to the bakuchiol in here. I don't remember what the percentage is, but I've mentioned it before. Eye creams and eye products, while I understand that they're important and can help with prevention, I personally don't have a lot of fine lines and tons of dark circles and stuff, at least that I notice, to tackle. And so anytime I'm reviewing an eye cream that has the claims to address all of those things, I feel like it's hard for me to speak to that because, the fan's on, of course. It's hard for me to speak to that because I'm like, okay, well, day 1, my eye area looked like this. Day 30 or 40, my eye area looked like this. It's pretty much the same. So how can I say if this product is yes, all those active ingredients or all those key ingredients are doing their thing, because there isn't always a thing to do on my skin, I guess. And so, that's not me trying to be braggadocious or anything, but just trying to be honest in that I almost feel a little bit like I shouldn't be reviewing eye creams because I'm not trying to necessarily address a specific issue. So it's hard for me to speak to any sort of before and after or results or progress. I just kind of put it on because it's a step that people tell me I should use. So I think this will be my last eye cream. I like it. It keeps my eye area hydrated. It feels nice. It feels soft. But, when I put my mugwort cream on, that's spoilers, that's my moisturizer. When I put that on, I don't see why I couldn't get maybe a little bit closer to my eye area or just put a thin layer there, as long as it's not, I'm not having a bad reaction. I'm really just looking for hydration around the eyes to keep my eye area from being dry and to get some sort of moisturizer on there, just like I do the rest of my face. But outside of that, I don't really need much. So when we're looking at a $40 plus eye cream, it's kind of hard for me to justify continuing to purchase that. So I think if we are going to talk prevention and maintaining what you currently have, then I guess I'm not 110% sold on the need for a separate eye product. I think I can get away with using a basic hydrating moisturizer near the eye area that is just intended for hydration and nourishment because that's what I'm looking for. However, if I did have if I was trying to address dark circles or anything really, really, specific or targeted to just my eye area, then I guess I could see incorporating a new product, just like you do an acne product or an acid or a retinol. You're trying to get a little bit more specific and address individual concerns, and I just personally don't see that for me. So finally, we're going to be working in the mugwort cream, and this is a cream that contains 73.55% mugwort extract, a huge amount. You also, I believe, there is some emollients in here. I don't know the exact ones. I don't have the box with me, but it's think shea butter, jojoba oil, sunflower oil, squalane, something along those lines with this moisturizer. So I give myself a pretty decent dollop in the PM. I use this both AM and PM and kind of work that between my hands and then press and massage. And I've got about a week left with this one before I'm ready to put together my review. And I'm fairly happy with it. I was worried that I was having a reaction to it early on, but it was actually just a reaction I was having to a different product in my routine. So I'm glad that I stuck with it, because for a moment there I was like, oh, maybe I need to pull this out of my routine. But I'm glad I'm stuck with it, because in fact, it feels nice and lightweight, but there's just enough of that oil content to give you kind of that emollient feel, which is nice for nighttime, and it'll be nice going into some cooler weather here in the next few weeks. I'm hoping this will last me through the rest of this month going into October. But yeah, I could see people with kind of normal combination dry skin really liking this. Those with super oily skin might not like the slight not residue, but slight sheen that this leaves behind, that kind of emollient layer, that occlusive layer. But I don't mind it. It's not oily. It's just there's a little something that sits on the surface after everything else has been absorbed. But it does help over time, maybe, kind of slightly reduce irritation, kind of calm the skin. But I found this one not to be as immediately soothing, immediately calming like the mugwort essence, the mugwort sheet mask, and the mugwort wash-off mask from the same line from I'm From. Those were all like triage, like, oh my god, tretinoin is making my skin freak out tonight, or this week, or I'm having a breakout, or my skin's just super red, or overworked from being out in the sun. I need something to like calm this down. Let's bring this redness, inflammation, even itching down. I mentioned that once, that when I was adjusting to tretinoin, my friend's cat caused my whole neck and kind of lower part of my face after I kind of snuggled her to just go like, and it was like throbbing and itchy, like literally like felt like hives. And the mugwort essence and sheet mask and mugwort wash-off mask really helped to just bring that down and calm and soothe it. They were just like lifesavers. I'm not getting the same immediate kind of effect from the cream. The cream seems to be a slow burn, kind of slow build. Like I put it on, it helps maybe a little bit, but not like, oh wow, I can see it. But over the past, couple of weeks, I have noticed my skin kind of regulate. I'm not feeling as reactive, and that might be in part to me pulling a couple of the products that I knew were kind of reacting to my skin poorly. I've kind of pulled them out of my routine. So that was the Ursa Major Fantastic Face Wash, which had a lot of citrus essential oils that seemed to be messing with my skin. That's gone. The Choriatake Oxen toner, the talc toner, that was doing okay, but it also had grapefruit oil fairly high on the ingredients list. And once I removed that, my skin improved just a bit more. It just seemed a little bit more stable. And so I really have tried my best to start removing products that have high amounts or a cornucopia or a whole plethora of citrus-based essential oils. I think that might be a trigger for me. And so the mugwort cream has been able to kind of show its stuff a little bit more now that I've kind of purged my routine of those ingredients or products. But still, if I had the mugwort essence in my routine and I was using something like that, my skin freaked out, I feel like the mugwort essence would have been like, we got this. Let's just bring this all back down to a nice baseline. I don't get that so much with the cream. So that's that. That is my entire evening routine. transitioning from summer to fall, I haven't quite gotten the facial oils out, although I did receive a couple as a gifted that I'm very, very excited to try and share with you all. So facial oils are kind of out. The fact that I have condensed my essence and toner step into one has helped to reduce my routine for now. So outside of the acids, I've only got 6 products in my evening routine. That's leaving out the Hallelujah, Differin, and Curology that I don't use every day. And then in the AM, the only thing different is no acids and then add sunscreen. So my routine is kind of a 6 to 7 step at its core, with the things like acids and sunscreens working their way in here and there. So it's nice. It's nice to have such a kind of toned down routine, and I really do think that now that I've kind of completely eliminated those higher concentrations of citrus oils, my skin has just, even just in this week, so we're talking 5 days, has just kind of normalized. I'm not seeing, like, after I get done with my routine and washing my face and everything, I'm not seeing like, oh, big red patch here, something's angry. Like, everything's just kind of like rolling with it, and right now it's all about hydration and trying to tackle hyperpigmentation. So that's kind of my focus with this current routine, is the exfoliation's a big piece, and then everything else is just kind of like, let's keep the hydration moving and grooving. So, and some brightening here and there. But anyway, let me know if you have any questions about this routine. If you need me to dive more in detail about any of these products, I will have full reviews on everything. I already have reviews up for the Peach and Lily eye cream on the blog, so that's already ready. Everything else, you'll start to see reviews pop up in the next few days to weeks. Some of this might be a full month, definitely the Hallelujah, because that's very new. So that's that, and I guess thank you all so much for watching. Any comments, suggestions you have for my routine, or my video content in general, if you have any tips for that, let me know. I'm always willing and appreciative to take constructive criticism or whatever you might have. Otherwise, thanks again, and as always, stay glowing. Bye.